Hello everyone, Poot the Bard. We are back with another gear review, and no, I'm not going to have this be just kind of a samey kind of thing, and we're not just going to keep doing them, but I have another preamp for us to review. It is the Rocktron Widowmaker. Let's find out a little bit more about it. So the Rocktron Widowmaker is a 2-channel high-gain preamp. It has a clean channel, distortion channel, that's it, and the truth. It's very basic, it's straightforward, and a good platform if you're into the rack thing to build your sound off of and utilize like other effects processors and stuff like that. It's very simple. The front panel is a clean channel with bass, mid, treble, and level. Very simple. The other side is your high gain, which is the same thing with just an extra gain control. You have one single input, an on-off switch, and if we take a look at the back here, you have your Rocktron power, which they use that little barrel plug thing. There we go. I'm gonna Kilroy it right here. Is that kind of Kilroying it? Maybe a little bit. I can't put my nose over the preamp. I could, but it'd be kind of gross. But they use that little barrel jack. I don't know how I feel about that, but you know. And then we have a foot switch and an output. Not even an effects loop on this thing. It is straightforward and ready to go. So you would have to kind of run this, I mean, into effects units and stuff like that. It would be, it's kind of weird. I think it's really designed to be in the Rocktron ecosystem. And the EQ on this is not one of those things where you can really be aggressive with it. Small changes in the EQ really make a difference with this thing. It kind of has that, it's less so of like turning up and down. It's more like a boost and a cut. And I know you're sitting there going, well, that's the same thing. It's not. Everything at noon is neutral. And then you have on the bass, especially on the gain channel, on the bass and treble, you have a plus or minus 15 dB boost. And then the mids are plus or minus 30. So you have a lot of mid control, but you got to be really delicate. And you will hear that as we go through it. Let's get into it now. All right, so now we're over here in Reaper again. I'm using the signal path I did for the Fender M80. I'm using my Balaguer. Well, this is the variable. I'm instead of using my Charvel, I'm using my semi-custom. Oh God, I'm dropping it all over the place, which I don't want to do. Balaguer Toro. Okay, neck through, very nice. It has an HSH configuration. Balaguer Feral, Balaguer Evergreen. Feral in the bridge, rather, if you can't see what I'm pointing at. Balaguer Feral in the bridge, Balaguer Evergreen, and an Astral in the middle. Their pickups are great. Their guitars are great. Check them out. I'll make sure to put a link in the description. They're a Pennsylvania-based company. Joe is a wonderful guy. Their community on Facebook is really, really good, and they're always putting out some neat stuff. Make sure, if you don't know them, check out Balaguer Guitars. You can do semi-custom builds like this one. This was one that I came through in trade, so I'm hoping in 2021 that I can spec out my own, and it might not be a Toro. It might be one of their other models. So I'm using this, and primarily I'm going to use the bridge and neck pickup, but there's other split options just to hear the sounds. So let's power this on. Pop. Ah, there it is. All right. Woo, don't want to do that yet. So talking about the Widowmaker here, I'm going to reset everything because I tried recording this before and noticed that the gain channel, while very loud, I left everything at new. I kind of had to do a little bit of dialing in. First off, we're going to talk about the clean channel. It's a clean channel. It's the one thing I will say about Rocktron, they do a really good job of having their solid state stuff, which this preamp is solid state. It sounds really good. The cleans, I think, is where it's more telling that it's solid state, but it feels really good. That's the thing. And to me, it's a more convincing solid state than most. Like, it sounds really good. Rocktron does a good job with this. We're not going to spend too much time on the clean channel because a lot of people are probably more interested in what the gain stuff sounds like, because Rocktron touts this as a modern metal preamp, and I don't know if I would go that far, but it definitely has more gain on tap, and the EQ, the way it works is, more modern than classic, you know. So we'll go over that. But first, clean channel, we're just going to put everything at noon. I'm going to go on the neck pickup here just so you can hear. I'm not going to do anything really crazy. Yeah, we'll just do a little bit of chord stuff. Ooh, gotta tighten my tremolo arm. There we go. We'll do a split sound just so you can hear. It's a clean channel. I'll just do a little bit. I'm going to scoop the mids out, bring the treble up, and bring the bass back just a hair. Get the coil split kind of thing on, single coil split. So it translates pickup configuration really well. It's very poppy. It's a very loud preamp, like I said. But that's your clean channel. It's a clean. It'll do the job. It's a good platform for you know, modulation effects and time-based effects and stuff like that, as you would want. But I think a lot of people want to hear what this high gain channel sounds like. This is the one we're going to go a little bit more in depth with. Switching over here. It's a little noisy, but I think that's by dint of my room that I record in. Like I said, everything I'm going to start at noon, okay? And to remind you, the EQ on this is not like a traditional EQ in the sense that you can really have a wide sweep without drastically changing. More like, you know, like how Marshalls kind of do. Not saying Marshalls are bad. I'm just saying you can really turn the knobs and get that aggressive. I'm moving it up to 10 when it, you know, it'll kind of bump the frequency a little bit. This is more drastic. Little changes make a huge difference in this preamp. So I'm going to start with everything square up at noon except for level. Level's going to be back a little bit because in my previous recording of this, it got really boomy. It's inherently a dark preamp with everything set at unity, which is straight up and down. So we're going to see how that sounds again. Bridge pickup on my Balaguer. So it right away, it already has that. I don't know how to put it. It's that kind of like 80s high gain thing. You know what I mean? That let me see that. It just kind of has that vibe. It has that soul. But oh, I'm dying. But I think that's kind of what Rocktron does. I really do. I think that's like a Rocktron thing. It's that flavor. And you either love it or you hate it. I personally like it because I think it's a good platform to build off of. So again, that's everything at noon. And let's bring the gain up to see what the gain can do. So I'm going to bring the gain to just past 3 o'clock. And again, when I say my settings, imagine you're looking at a clock. 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, noon. Well, because camera, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, noon, 6 o'clock. So can't really go to 6 o'clock on these. That would be way too much. So this is just past 3 o'clock. As a reference, again, just because I yammer and you might forget, here's noon. Here is just past 9 o'clock. There you go. Now we're starting to get a little bit of squish. Let's go back the other direction just to see. So it's a little bit below 9 o'clock. No one's going to mistake this for a crunched up power, like, you know, power amp kind of push. Let's bring it back even more. Now it's down around 8 o'clock. It's it's a reasonable facsimile of a crunch. Put it on single coils for that one, so it'll do it. But let's bring the gain back to noon. Now, like I said, you can really hear the EQ differences as you turn them, and they interact with each other pretty well. So you got to spend a lot of time with it because it's, like I said, it's a cut and a boost. The lows and highs, the bass and treble, are minus and plus 15 dB. The mids are minus and plus 30 dB. So you got a lot of wiggle room on this. Let's go ahead and hear how we're going to interact with the treble knob now. So bringing it up. Crispy. Treble really gets, like I said, crispy in there. So you're kind of getting that gent a little bit, not a lot. I'm not saying it is genting. I'm just saying you're getting that definition. So you're in that ballpark. Let's bring the treble all the way up now. Let's go back the other direction. I like that. I don't know about you guys. I like all this, the amount of flexibility. It's not even so much when you land on a setting you like it, but you go, oh, I can get there if I need it. That's kind of nice. So let's go the other direction, back to 9 o'clock on the treble. It just sucks. It's all gone. You want that woman tone without changing off your bridge pickup or changing your tone knob? By God, you got it. It's that... Oh, wow, that's drastic. Okay, back to noon. Let's hear what goes on with the mids now. That really honks out the mids. Let's bring the mids all the way up for giggles. And it just becomes all mid-range. That's crazy. So now I'm going to bring the mids back again. Here's at noon for reference. Everything at noon. Let's bring the mids back. And just to hear how drastic the change is, we're only going to bring it to 10 o'clock. So it's at noon. Down to 10 o'clock. Tiny little changes on this preamp are all it takes. My microphone was jumping at me and it was saying, no, bring those mids back up. Let's see. I'm going to bring it down just down past 9 o'clock now in the mids. It does that thing. I mean, it does that thing, but it loses its character. Like, I mean, that's the thing, like with this, playing through it and playing around with it before I recorded all this, I kind of looked at it and I went, this feels like it's trying to be a Piranha. And again, I say this a lot in my things, but it gets you in the ballpark. But I feel like the Rocktron stuff for scooped sounds just not the best. I think they do better when their mids are neutral or pushed a little bit. That's the kind of classic sound I associate with these. But let's see what the bass does. And this is gonna ruin me. Noon. Let's cut them. Playing on an AM radio all the way down. I mean, if you want it to sound like a gorilla amp, it can. So we're going to bring the bass back up to noon here. Now that sounds so drastic. Oh, it's so different. We're going to bring the bass up to just before 3 o'clock. So this is how much low end this thing can get. All right. Oh, I'm doing it all the way up, bass all the way up. Those high notes sounded okay, but that low end is too woofy, too much. But again, it's showing you what you can do with this preamp. Let's see what we can do. I didn't really talk about my IRs earlier on. I got so excited just getting into this preamp. I'm using the Lancaster Audio IR loader. It's free, so if you're someone who uses Reaper or any kind of DAW and you just need an IR loader to do the job, and work independently of a program, say like Line 6 Helix or anything else. You just need a standalone IR loader for applications like this. It's free. Give it a go. I'm using the ML Sound Labs Mega OS for this because I wanted to see what this thing could do in a modern setting. ML Sound Labs IRs are great. They are consistently good. They give you tons of mic options, tons of positioning options, and they are just easy to use. Try them out. They're not super expensive. They are definitely worth the price of admission. So this is with the 58. Let's see. I'm going to just try and get the sound I'm looking for with the Widowmaker right now. I'm not going to mess with the level on this because it will just front end my audio interface way too hard. By the way, my audio interface I'm using is a Focusrite 18i20, so overkill for my purposes, but it does everything and more that I need it to ever do. So we're gonna see what we can make happen here on this high gain channel just with the preamp before changing the IR to different mics. Or anything. So I personally like a good amount of high end in my signal. So first of all, I'm going to bring the gain just up to 2 o'clock. Next thing I'm going to do is bring the treble. Because these EQ controls are so sensitive, I'm going to bring the treble up to just before 2 o'clock. So around 1:30. Mids, I like a little bit of mids, so let's bring that up slightly past noon because it's the one that's most aggressive with its 30 plus minus dB and how it interacts with the treble knob. I'm going to just bring that up a hair. And now the low end, I'm actually going to bring back just before noon. Let's see where we're at now. Still using the same Mega OS with the 58. So here's what we have now. I still want more sizzle, and maybe I'm gonna back those mids down just a hair. Now it's right just a little bit past noon. I'm gonna bring the treble up actually to 3 o'clock. I like that. I'm actually going to bump the gain a little bit more. Harmonics aren't really popping out as much. I could push the mids a little bit harder. I like that. But I'm going to see if I can. I'm going to bring the mids up just a little bit more again. I want to try and get that priesty kind of sound. So let's try the 421 mic. Now let's see what that does to the tone. That got a little more thrashy. Let's try a 121 instead. Try the 121. Darkened everything up a little bit, so my treble's already pretty up there. I'm going to bring my mids up a little bit, and I'm going to actually push my treble even more on the preamp. So now, I think we're there. I think we might be. Oh, I missed it. I don't know if I can. Do I still have the sweep in me? I do not. I gotta sit down and practice that. But on some leads, I mean, I think if I wanted to do leads, if I wanted to track leads, I would probably go back to the 421 just to bring out more highs. And this, so it's... I need to practice more. Oh, my sweeps are rough. It does the thing. It does the thing. So, and also what you can glean from this, and I'm going to go ahead and just, like, you can glean from this that the speaker cabinets that you choose to use with this stuff really impacts the overall sound. And that's an obvious thing, but, you know, I don't know about you guys. Here comes the pop. I am really surprised by this. Getting to be able to get kind of the ballpark of sounds that I personally really like. I feel like if we went for something that was a little more scooped, something that was a little more like thrash, that wasn't pushed more like Slayer, Anthraxy, or like classic metal like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, I feel like those are more this thing's speed. I think if you front-ended this with an overdrive pedal or a boost pedal and dropped the gain and really played around with the EQ and picked the right cabinet or IR to use for it, I think you could get the djenty kind of thing. But the spirit of this thing inherently is that classic metal thrash tone. You know, like I said, anything from Maiden, Priest, Metallica, Anthrax, Megadeth, Exodus, like that's kind of where this preamp I think sits and really is comfortable. Maybe down the road I'll pull out the 7-string and once I get it back up and running, putting a new set of pickups in it. So we'll see how that goes. But with this, I feel like the spirit of this thing is that kind of metal, not necessarily modern, progressive, thrash kind of thing. It's great though. And if you liked what you heard, look one up because you can find them for really good deals. I don't know if Rocktron, I think Rocktron still makes them, but I couldn't really find them anywhere new except on sites like eBay or Reverb, where it was people that were selling them, you know, like retail outlets and their pages or stores that were selling it. But if you find it used, mine is in literally damn near mint shape, except for the rack wings, like where you put the screws, they have a little bit of paint worn off. Like I got mine with the box, with the paperwork, with everything for a song. So if you want to have this in your arsenal as something that's a good, versatile, high gain, preamp that would be something that would be robust and built well, that would fit in your rack. It doesn't take up a lot of space, and it's something fun to use. Check them out. Like Rocktron, I feel like is underrated. Of course, people think of the Prophecy 2, which I would love to get a hold of one of those to play around with and review. The Piranha, again, that's another bucket list piece of gear that hopefully I'll have one day, as a Rocktron Piranha. Those are the Piranha's a Valve preamp, and they do tube preamps and stuff. But the Widowmaker, the Prophecy 2, those are all solid state digital kind of things. I think this is analog solid state. So again, you can get sounds that you like for cheap. You can build a rig for not that much money. People get focused on the Kemper Axe effects kind of thing. Do you really need a Ferrari to drive to the grocery store? Like, wherever you're gigging, I understand. And look, I have a Helix. I have a Helix rack system, and I love it. And it's great for playing in the cover band that I play in. Being able to cover any bass that I need. I've used it for musicals, and it's a wonderful tool to have. But if you're just going out with a metal band, like your own band or like a rock band, you don't need much. And the cool thing about rack gear is that it's modular, so you could have this for your metal gig and a 50-watt power amp, because you don't need to blow anyone's head off when you're playing smaller venues. You have that, and then, you could do the, or you don't even need a power amp. If you're going to run direct, you just get one of the torpedo captors or whatever. You could run that to the front of the house. Like, you have so many options, and you don't have to break the bank. So would I say make this a priority to purchase? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. But if you're interested in trying something different, if you're looking to build a rack rig and basing it around something high gain that's flexible, and you don't want to spend a crazy amount of money, take a look at the Widowmaker. It's a lot of fun. Links to Balaguer Guitars is down in the description. The link to the Lancaster audio is IR loader is down in the description, and a link to ML Sound Labs is down there as well. Thank you very much for checking out my review. Please let me know in the description if there's any gear, not the description, you can't put stuff there, but down in the comments, let me know if there's any gear you'd like me to take a look at, or if you have any questions about. If there's anything that I'm doing that you go, hey, maybe you want to try this, here's how you can make your video better. I enjoy constructive criticism. So if you come to me with a suggestion, or hey, maybe check this out, or hey, try this, or hey, maybe use a different setting on whatever, please let me know, because I want to get better with this stuff, and I'm still kind of new and finding my way in my style and everything that's going on. Until next time, this is Poot the Bard saying, remember, don't get any on ya.